point is that a sign of strength? That is not what real strength looks like, Milwaukee. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and taking responsibility and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient.
This video was generated in 34 seconds using AI. Filming, recording, and editing videos is time-consuming and expensive.
Themselves. That's what we should want in our daughters and in our sons, and that's what I want to see in the President of the United States of America. And fortunately, in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Tammy Baldwin, you have candidates to vote for in this election who demonstrate that kind of character, who know what real strength looks like, who will set a good example and do the right thing and leave this country better than they found it. So if you are still on the fence in this election, think about what really matters. Think about the values we were taught by our parents and our grandparents. Think about the kind of country we want to be. And understand that your vote really does count. Here in Wisconsin, a single precinct might be decided by 10 or 20 votes. And those votes could determine the fate of our republic, the world that our children and grandchildren will inherit. That is an awesome responsibility. But what an extraordinary privilege that is. To live in a democracy that gives each of us the chance to make a difference, gives each of us the chance to make our voices heard. So, together, let's seize that opportunity. Let's vote for Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States. Let's vote for Tim Walz as the next Vice President of the United States. Let's vote for Tammy Baldwin and this whole early, because we have to wrap up before the Packers-Lions game starts. So, cheeseheads, don't worry. I'm not trying to compete against that. And the Bears are also playing, so. Hey. Right now we're on the same team, people. I am here for a very important reason, and that is to ask you to vote for one of my favorite congresswomen, Gwen Moore, for your wonderful Senator, Tammy Baldwin, and for the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Now, if you have not voted yet, today is the last day of early voting in Milwaukee. You can still get it done before the game. I won't be offended if you leave right now. If you have an absentee ballot, do not put it in the mail at this point. Bring it to a drop box at any early voting site. And if you can't vote early, make a plan to vote on Election Day, November 5th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just go to let me make sure I get this right, wisdems.org/vote. And that'll tell you where you can go. And remember to bring your phone.
At Strikingly, you can make a website in minutes. Building your website has never been easier with our beautiful and free templates. You can also create membership sites for your audience, with no code or design skills needed. Come build a website now.
Photo ID. And then get your friends and your family to make a plan to vote too, because together, in 3 days, we have a chance to choose a new generation of leadership in this country and start building a better and stronger and more hopeful America. Now, I don't think it's any news to you that this election is going to be tight. It's going to be tight because a lot of Americans are still struggling. You know, as a country, sometimes I think we forget we have been through a lot over these last few years. We had a historic pandemic that wreaked havoc on communities and businesses and families. The disruptions from the pandemic caused price hikes that put a strain on family budgets. And even before the pandemic, a lot of Americans felt that no matter how hard they worked, treading water was the best they could do. So I understand why people are looking to shake things up. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you. Because there is absolutely no evidence that this man thinks about anybody but himself. This is a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down that golden escalator 9 years ago. And we've seen it for over a decade now, this show of his. The late night tweets, all caps. The weird tangents and crazy conspiracy theories. The constant attempts to sell you stuff. Gold sneakers, a $100,000 watch, even a Trump Bible. He wants you to buy the Word of God, Donald Trump edition. He's got his name right there next to Matthew and Luke. Who does that? The point is, Donald Trump is not thinking about you. His entire campaign, just like his entire presidency, has always been based on him. It's about him. His status, his money, his ego, his grievances, his insecurities. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his buddies. He doesn't care if he costs more women their reproductive freedom, because apparently he doesn't think that it's going to affect him. It won't make a difference in his life. But most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them, between real Americans, quote unquote, who support him, of course, and outsiders who don't. Because he thinks that having America divided, having people angry and resentful, will increase his chances to get elected. It's as simple as that. And I'm here to tell you, Milwaukee, we do not need another 4 years of Trump's arrogance and incompetence and division. America's better than that. America's ready to turn the page. America's ready for a new story, a better story. We are ready for a president, Kamala Harris.